Yeah. All right, guys. So I'm presenting. Cool. Let's see what we have. I'm gonna hit play. Here they come after me. All right, awesome. We got this kind of stuff going on. Uh-oh, that's a big error. Laser bullet is pending kill. All right, whenever you see something that's like, it's pending kill, you must kill. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to take wherever you're getting an error, and you're going to add what's called an is valid node. All you got to do. You'll never get the error again. Just a little secret. All right, so now that we've done that, I wanted to show you guys something I found online that I think we should buy for this project. It's $4, and it's a UI kit. So you see that? First off, the name is fitting. Mando user interface. And I look at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is basically a Star Wars looking interface. So if you guys think this would look good for the game, I'll buy it. It will implement it into the game, and we'll start building out a more professional HUD. I was hoping for stocks. What, you want some Tesla? What are you talking about? Some Game Stunk? All right, guys, what do you think? Should we get this? Does this look like it could be good for our various UI elements? Yeah? Do a poll, your decision? Sure, I'll do a poll. That's a good idea. Internet's being slow now. All right. Should we get and implement the new UI kit or save that for another time? Implement UI, save for another time. If you say save for another time, then we'll just jump back into Unreal and start messing around with features and stuff, which is totally an option as well. All right, that poll is loading. Should be launched in a second. All right, the poll is now launched. Decide on whether we should get this UI. It's to the moon. So there's one other class where I'm doing a Star Wars related project, and it's actually where it's the Mandalorian, the game, whatever that might mean, is what we're kind of doing, where you play a bounty hunter maybe. We're like doing a Tatooine set and everything. And I got the same robots, I think, that we have in yours, in there. And we just started doing the interiors and stuff. It's really cool. It's in my period 8. I'm definitely going to implement this for them. So don't feel bad because I'm buying it. I'm going to buy it either way. But figure, okay, this might be something that would work for this. But then again, you can't really play UI. UI just makes the game look better. All right, taking a look at that poll. Everybody please vote. Everybody said implement the UI. Overwhelming majority. All right, let's do the UI. So this is a good kind of lesson on how to implement art and things that you didn't make, okay, that you are going to implement in a game, whether that's a commercial game, which means you're selling it, or just a project you're making for fun to learn the engine or whatever. So I am on a website that's part of the Envato Marketplace, which is a website that has a lot of different things for sale for various creative projects. Things like, you can see audio, video, code. Most of it is web stuff. You'll find some really good WordPress templates, so that if you have a website and you don't want to make it all yourself, you get this template and you just replace the images with what you want and that kind of thing. Although, if you Google game UI, sometimes you'll find stuff coming up on this graphicdriver.net, and you're going to see this. Now, the only difference between buying something like this and buying something on the Epic Marketplace is these aren't going to be widgets. These are images, and they're going to come in a Photoshop document, all of them together as a kit, what we call a UI kit. So that's what this is going to look like, and you want to know what your licensing terms are with this. So right now, I could do the regular license or the extended license. Okay, I am not producing this game. I'm not selling this game. This game is not even an IP I own, although I am a co-owner in Disney, so I kind of own it. So I can't really use this under this normal licensing terms if I was to sell the game. But since I'm not selling it, we're going to go with the non-commercial version of it. And then usually that requires attribution. So let's everybody on 3. We're going to say, on 3, we'll say, thank you, Vengeance MK1. All right? You have to do that, otherwise they'll sue you. As long as we say it out loud, they have been attributed credit. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Vengeance MK1. All right, nobody said it, so you're all gonna get sued. Okay, but I'm safe now. Don't worry, that's how it works. So yeah, I know what it's like being sued. So let's go to buy now. And all right, so now we'll let me purchase that over here, and we will download it. Gets the mail, sees I'm being sued. All right, so we have just purchased that, so we're going to download it now. Download. And like I said, we're going to get a PSD file. Look, it's only 1.5 megabytes, which is super small. I like, oh no, it's 51.5, so 5.1. So, but still really small. 51 megabytes is not big, especially for a bunch of UI elements and stuff. All right, while that downloads, let's take a look at what we got. Also, live stream people, I haven't been sharing, so there you go. Now it's shared. I guess you'll see the UI template in a second. So we got these guys coming after me. Oh no. All right, and actually I already showed that. Some stuff we had talked about last time. You guys talked about possibly, I don't know, maybe making it so that the gravity on the zombies fell harder. So we can try increasing the gravity. Or actually probably the mass. So of their mesh or of the characters, like a whole bunch of different places where you could put that. Let's try putting it on the mesh, and we'll just change mass scale to like from 1 to 10, and maybe they'll fall harder, something like that. It would be the goal. All right. Let's see, is that gonna work? No, still falling in slow-mo. Real slow-mo, actually. All right. Could be justified because it's outside space kind of thing. You know what we could do? Because you're in space. Although this doesn't really happen in Star Wars, but we could turn off gravity for them so they kind of fall like all like without you know like without gravity, right? In space. Why don't we try that for a second? Because I feel like even if we don't actually implement it, that could be good for things like force powers and stuff. I really do think that one of the notes that I wrote last time is going to really be a good thing to implement in the game, which is that instead of pack-a-punch, like in Call of Duty traditional style, for this game, it's force powers. So you can, get force push, force lightning, force stuff like that. Question. If we try implementing a force power system today, at least the beginning of one, what force power should be our first force power? Could be one of the ones I listed or something else entirely. Okay, I see a couple answers. Right? Got some good answers. Some kind of saber throw, force grip. Oh yeah. Wow, push, pull, super speed. Oh yeah, that's true. They got that super jump, Force freeze, freeze time. Dang. Yeah, what is force freeze? That's not a thing, is it? But it could be a thing in ours. Saber throw. Wow, we got some really good stuff. I'm gonna have to put notes on this. Let's start keeping a catalog of the force powers that you can get. So I'm just gonna copy over your stuff. lightning, classic Darth's dark side. Force choke. All right, so what about force jump? Put force jump too. I'll put force freeze in there, even though I don't know what that is. I think that means you kind of slow them down, or they kind of like slow motion, which I know I've never seen that in Star Wars, but he said maybe in some of the games you might have seen that. Like, but I'm fine with that. I think it's a good idea. Force freeze is basically force speed. Oh, really? Okay. All right. So, cool. Okay. Let's see. Where do we want to implement that? I did want to say let's try turning on gravity when we kill them, or turning off gravity just to see what it looks like. So let's do that. I'm gonna set gravity. I'm gonna set enable gravity to false. This can sometimes do this. Done it before, where they're going to be like floating. I don't know if it'll work because we might be simulating gravity not on the right component here, but let's try. Oh yeah, it worked. See that? Whoa! There they go. Out into space. That is awesome. Again, it's not the most Star Wars thing I've ever seen, but if you guys want to implement that in some kind of crazy way, I'm happy to do it. And there they go for eternity. All right, buddy, you're next. Oh. See, he didn't launch, though, because he wasn't moving at the time. So he's just going to kind of float there. Think of a way that we could implement that, because that was sick. That was awesome. Let's start with our force powers. So I'm going to just... we'll check mark that so they'll fall, like traditionally. What we'll do is let's do custom event. Putting us... oh, no. Put this in the player character. Custom event. We're going to call this force power. And let's make an enum for this, since you guys had such good ideas on the different types that we could... different types of powers. So let's do that. Let's go into here. Add new... remember what an enum is? Somebody tell me what's an enum. What do I mean when I'm saying enum? Tristan, you know? Thomas? Michael? What's an enum? Jose says a data type. Tristan says a number. Not so much. Enumeration is a type of list. Michael got it. It's a list. So we go to enumeration. E underscore, I like to name it that so I remember it's in enum. And we will name it force powers. And enums are really useful in code. I love them. So let's do force push. Basically the list I just wrote down. Force pull. Let's do force lightning, of course. Force saber throw. Force speed. Force jump. All right, we'll add more later. You can always add more to the list. But now if we go back to our character, our event called force power, I can make the input of this event that enum. Type in force powers, E force powers. And we can name this power to use. What an enum allows us to do is to switch on enum. So we get these different branches of code to do based on what is being passed into this. So this way we'll be able to specify different things that take place based on whether we're doing our force thing. So the first thing I think we should do, probably, force to me, unlike our very accurate line trace where you're just aiming and shooting a line, aiming and shooting a line. A force thing is very general, right? It kind of is almost like a sphere trace that emanates from the character. Bam, especially in the case of a force push, something like that. So what we could use is a similar system to our line trace system, basically identical, except instead of a line, it produces a sphere trace. So let's type in sphere trace, and multi-sphere trace. This sweeps a sphere along a given line, returns all hits, encountered up to, including the first blocking hit. That could be good. Multi-sphere rather than a single sphere. Sweeps a sphere along a given line, returns the first blocking hit. Yeah, we want multiple. So multi-sphere trace by channel should be good. Okay, and it's going to look a lot like our line trace. Quite similar, right? Our line trace, again, is what we're using over here by our blaster. Line trace by channel. Remember, we get the start and the end location, tracing on the camera channel. So let's do that. Let's copy that. That's for a fire weapon code. This is for firing a force power. Jedi mind trick should be. I know, I can't believe nobody said that. I was half expecting somebody to be like, yeah, Jedi persuasion. Like, you don't want to attack me. You want to defeat your friends. And the robot just turns around and starts killing all the other robots or whatever. You want to give me an insta-kill. I want to give you an insta-kill. Like, right? It should be cool. All right, so we're going to do this Let's absolutely test what this is going to look like. So we are going to use the draw debug. We'll do persistent. And then radius. Because it's a sphere, we decide how big is it. So if you leave this as 0, you're not going to see anything. So let's do 200 units wide. And I'm going to do the camera channel because the camera channel hits pawns by default. The visibility channel does not. Let's try this. All right, somebody give me a keyboard key or mouse click thing. What are we going to press to trigger the force power right now? Okay, it just can't be something we're already using. E. Are we using E? I guess we're not using E. All right, I see 2 E's. We'll do E. All right, E key. All right, and then now we'll call the custom event we just made called force power. And you'll see when we call that node, that enum is now, an input that we get to select. In this case, we want, what do we want? Oh, we're putting this off of force push. Okay, so we want to call force push. But the next time you want to call this and call something different, you switch the enum that's being passed through. So I love enum, super useful. Very, very useful. All right, so, okay, we're going to do that. We're just going to see if the sphere shows up and leaves from our guy. We'll see it because we have draw debug on. All right. I'm going to press E, 3, 2, 1, E. Okay. 3, 2, 1, E. It's a pretty big sphere. 3, 2, 1, E. Okay. And you see that it is, what if I look over here? Is it going to like E? Oh, wow. It went really far. You see how far that goes? Yeah. So that could work. And you'll see that it's getting stopped on stuff because that's part of what the line trace is supposed to do. If it hits one of these guys, it's not going to go past them necessarily. Let's try that. E. Yeah, see, it got stopped there because all these blocking hits. Okay, that's not bad. Now that we have that, let's look at our out hits. And we could do a for each loop on them. Because it's an array. It's going to give us a for each loop. And let's break this. Remember, this is a hit result, so hit results have like 1,000 things to deal with here that you can do optional code on. I guess what we really care is, what was the hit actor? And if so, let's apply some velocity or physics or something. So, all right, physics stuff. I don't do the physics thing too often, so we got to see what we want to do. Add physics thruster. Okay, creates a new component and assigns ownership to the actor this is called for. Object calls the first between the root. It might be what we want. We could try that. There's also force, I think. Let's try messing around with one of these components. I don't know if the component's going to do anything. Let's just mess around with it. See if we get a reaction. Add force. Thank you, guys. You can make it like Jedi Outcast, where you have a button that lets you switch between force powers, and another that activates it. So on console, it would be like D-pad chooses the force powers, and left trigger activates it. Okay, I think I need like a visual of that, but I think that could work. All right, no idea in the world if this is gonna work. We're gonna see if we get a reaction out of these NPCs when they get hit by the thing. Probably they won't, but we'll see. E? Nope. Okay. That's fine. So we'll delete that. The other thing we could do. There is a node called, don't know why it's called, launch character. It only works for characters, but those guys are thankfully characters. We just need to cast to them. Cast to, technically they're the BP zombie, but this will work for any character. So I could do cast a zombie, cast a character. We'll do cast a zombie. Still calling them zombies. Maybe we should change that name at some point. And this lets us launch them in a particular direction. Right now, I have no idea what direction they're facing. We'll have to do some like math to figure that out. Things like get forward vector, I think. Actually, no, I've done this before. What is it? There's a node that will get us whatever we're looking at. It will get us the exact opposite of that, so then we can know how to, that would be how you do a force push, essentially. We'll look it up in a second, but for now, let's just say, hey, I want to launch you 50 units that way, or 100. I don't mess around with it. Yeah, let's see if that works. Just try it. All right, here we go. Pressing E. Made him jump. Is that it? Just that subtle? It's a very weak power. All right, let's try 3,000. We got him to react. All right, here we go. He's coming at me, and E. Okay, he's being pushed to the side. You see that? But really very, very mildly. So, a couple things you could do with that. A couple things. So, well, first, before we do that, let's do 3,000 on Y. And we'll see if that also pushes him out. There's a couple things you might want to do. Might need to disable his movement ability. See, it's more like a spammy thing. Really, he needs to blow back. And so what we really need to do is we need to simulate the physics the same way that we do when he dies in this event. So if we go over here to our, wherever we kill our zombie code, I guess it's on fire weapon. See, we did a lot of code here. Damage enemy. This is now we're on him. Check if enemy can die. And then we have this thing where we set collision enabled. We disable movement. So let's lift this code from here and add this to our force push code. Would make sense. So, okay, over here. Force power, force push. Let's do it before we do the execution of the launch character. Just because sometimes in what order you do something does matter. So we want to make him all loosey-goosey, whoa, before we actually launch him. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, bam. Oh, I put it on the wrong node. My mistake. See, right there, again, this is why your target matters when it comes to where you put things on blueprints. Right now, I was targeting our character. So it's basically setting simulate physics and stuff and collision enabled on our player character. We don't want that. We want the collision enabled to be happening on the mesh of the zombie that we're casting to. So we'll ask for mesh, get mesh. Have that go into there. Get rid of that. And then we want it to happen, the disabled movement to happen of our zombie, not our player's character movement. So that goes into there. And that should work, maybe. We'll see. Set collision enabled. Here, set all bodies simulate physics. So let's grab that, not use it yet. We'll just leave it there. And if it ends up being the case that that's still needed, then we'll plug that node in as well. But we'll just leave that there. Let's test it. Wait, Mr. Do you ask for an example of the Jedi Outcast thing? Yeah, I did. Some sort of visual would be great, Jose. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1, E. 3, 2, 1, E. Oh, that was even worse. They launch character, nothing happens. So, all right, let's try this. Maybe disabling movement's not the way to do it. Could be. I would probably take that out. So again, thinking through this. Okay, how do we want it to look? How do we go about solving this problem we've set up for ourselves? All right, 3, 2, 1, E. He's false for 3, 2, 1, E. So not good. So that's not what we want. I'm going to say that disabling the movement probably disables the launching of the character. So we're going to skip disable movement. That might be appropriate when we want the guy to fall because he's been shot, but we want him to be force pushed. Maybe not. 3, 2, 1, E. 3, 2, 1, E. E, E, E. Nope, still falling. Could be that gravity is actually overwhelming whatever velocity we might be giving them. So what we'll do is we'll revisit this next time. I mean, this is stuff I can just Google real quick, but I also think it's important that we go through the process of figuring it out like a detective, you know, because game development isn't just what you have memorized. It's how you go about solving a problem that you don't know how to solve. So we've gotten somewhere, right? We've made a complete event that didn't exist at the beginning of this class called force power. And we've laid out a foundation for having multiple of those force powers. We also figured out the sphere trace, which I think is great. And what we're going to do for all the things that sphere overlaps whenever it's triggered and created in the world. And once we get the physics and stuff working, well then, force push. If we get force push working, force pull should be pretty easy, along with other things.